The first questions that you might get in an interview is, tell me about yourself.
Yeah.
I think we highlighted a very brief version of that here in the podcast today, but what are some tricks or tips related to tell me about yourself? I mean, I know personally, I always advise folks to keep it relatively short, keep it professional, maybe sprinkle in a little personal stuff in there, but just to keep it light or break the mood or maybe make a connection with who you're interviewing with. But any thoughts there?
Yeah. I always tell people you want to cover a good amount in this question, but you also don't want to spend your whole interview on this question, right? Some people go overboard. If you've got a 45-minute Teams interview, you don't want to spend the first 30 talking about yourself and not give the interviewer time to interject, right? So it's always, I always tell people, high-level overview of your background, right? But you don't want to skim through it so fast that you don't cover things.
Sure.
And then just put in some relevant information to what you're interviewing for. So, let's say if you're interviewing for an analyst role and you're currently an analyst, but you start out as a junior analyst, like you want to make sure you cover that as a progression in your background.
Would you say, and Amy, I'm curious to hear your thoughts around this. Would you say that's one of the things that you should already have kind of in your back pocket or trained to tell that story to a certain degree?
Yeah, I would say that's probably the one question that stumps most people. They don't want who's interviewing you. You don't want to regurgitate everything on your resume because that's what the interview's for.
And they've got your resume right in front of them.
Yeah, so just give them enough knowledge to get interested in you. Maybe highlight some things about you that aren't necessarily found on your resume.
Yep.
But stay away from things that are not important, such as religion, family matters, and things of that nature that could get a little bit dicey and are not really important to the interview. Could be an interest that you have associated with what the company makes or distributes, an article that you've read recently, or blogs tied to their industry. But I would say keep it interesting at a high level.
Professional associations, boards.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.